You're thinking like, man, that's so deep. And we all, well, most people, if you don't know, I'm going to tell it to you first. White people are descendants of black people, okay? They are. They just lost, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe I need to do some research on that, but they lost the melanin, and they lost, over time, because they ended up being in the colder climates, they lost the kinkiness and the melanin in their skin. And over time, they look completely different. But they are descendants from us. So that puts everything that you've known on top of its head almost. So, but that's a whole nother discussion.
It is a whole nother hour, and it's so deep because, you know, not just the medulla being a temperature control center for our bodies, but our hair is tightly coiled because it needed to protect us from the hot sun in those climates. So it's like everything about us is so fearfully and wonderfully made, from our skin protecting us from skin cancer to our hair, and here we go altering it, trying to look like a people that we got no business trying to look like because they're different.
They're our kids. They're our kids.
That's okay.
Well, see, let me shut up. But, you know, even the spiral, and I'm going to move on, but the spiral, I've even heard things like the spiral of our hair is the same circular pattern that the sun takes. Well, that the earth takes around the sun, or something like that. So that's interesting. Okay, we have another question. And Lakita Thomas Banks wants to know if you are planning to write another book, Michele. So let's bring her on.
That's a great question, because I was one of those people. I only got a relaxer maybe 3 or 4 times a year, and that was one of the reasons I decided. I said, I like my peaks and valleys, so let me just do it. And I thought the same thing, and my hair was pretty healthy, and it was down my back. But while I was working in pharmaceutical sales, what I found was white male doctors in their 50s, a few of them I would talk to about what I did, writing the book, etc., and they were very interested, and maybe if I share this with you, this will help you. They were more knowledgeable about the dangers of relaxers to our hair than we are as black women. I mean, we know because we're natural, but, you know, the majority of us aren't. And what he said to me is, of course, relaxers are damaging. I see women in here all the time with respiratory issues from inhaling the fumes. I see them in here with fungus in their scalp and on their skin, and I see them with that acne all on the hairline. Okay, those people in the mall might not say they have those issues, but this doctor, white male, 58 years old, said to me, it's like what happened to the Empire State Building when the World Trade Center, when the planes flew in. It's like building the World Trade Center on toothpicks instead of steel posts when you put a relaxer in the hair, because you're breaking down those chemical bonds. So it might look healthy, and you put the shiny stuff on top of it to say it's healthy, but inherently, chemically relaxed hair can never be healthy, because you have to damage the bonds and release all the nutrients inside of the cortex and able to make it straight. So that's like walking into the World Trade Center on toothpicks instead of on steel posts. And I don't know, that was the big wake-up call for me. And when I do the workshops and the seminars, it really brings home the point to people. I mean, you can sit up there all you want to and think that your hair is healthy and it might look healthy, but just like all of us walking around with toxins in our body and everything else, it's just everything that looks good ain't good.
That's so true. I'm going to bring Jay on.
What was the transition like to go from having to spot?
Girl, that transition is a whole other mental process. And thus, yes, Lakita asked, was I writing a book? Yes, I'm writing a book. My goal is to have it out by Christmas 2010, and it is a book. It's The Knotty Truth, Do-It-Yourself Locks at Home. Some of you that read the book might saw at the end I talked about how I would not talk about locks. I was actually starting my journey when this book came out. I started locks in 06, and this book was copyright written in 07. But locking is a whole nother journey, and it was a whole nother mental transition, because after I spent all that time, as you guys are doing now, learning what products to use to give you the right slip, the right hold, the right... You can't use those products when you lock. and learning what you can and can't do, I felt like a baby all over again, learning how to be natural. It's like you have to undo everything you learned, and you guys see how much energy you're putting into it now. So it's like, man, starting back at square one. So I give all kudos. When I came along, the big deal was Folk Key photo album. So we were all over Folk Key and Nappturalite asking questions, and now you have so many other resources to ask people. But it was a hard transition. But personally, I was determined because I was very frustrated. I started locking with 12 inches of hair, and it was about right here, and washing my hair was an all-weekend process. And I started getting to the point where I did not I had an adversarial relationship with my hair. I loved being natural. I believed in it. I was never going to put liquid Drano in my head again, but I had to figure out what I was going to do. And I never went natural to lock. In fact, I wasn't into locks. I have a lot of people in my family that have locks, but they got bad attitudes, and I wasn't attracted to it because of them. But I wanted to lock because I figured I had to find a permanent protective hairstyle. I always did my hair in 2-strand twists, and I would do updos and pull it back and all that. But like I said, that was an all-weekend process. And then, by the time Monday comes, you let it out. It always rained. It always rained. And then you right back to pulling it back in an Afro puff. And then I was losing my edges, going natural. I was very frustrated with that because natural was supposed to make my hair grow back, and I saw my hairline going back to here, and I was losing hair at the crown of my head. So I locked from braid locks. There's so many different ways to lock, but I had to do it in a way in corporate America that would sneak up on them so that they wouldn't, tell me I can't do it. So I put it in 400 micro braids. They accept braids on us. So by the time it was locked, a year later, they couldn't do nothing with me. So micro braid locks and sister locks are good ways to lock in an inconspicuous way. And then 2-strand twists and coils are another way to lock, but your hair can get very bushy and very unmanageable. And a lot of people get mad if they hear that word, but if you're in corporate America and you don't feel confident with your hair going a lot of different directions as it does when it locks, then it's better to stick with techniques that really hold the coil in tight, like braids or sister locks. But if you're a free form, you like to freestyle, and you got the confidence and you got your job on lock, go for other ways. But it's another mental and it's another physical transition. So I've been writing that book hardcore since March of this year, and that should be out by the time any of you guys are ready to make that transition to the other side.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to that book.
There's 2 ways to lock. You can lock using the product for twisting the roots, to tighten the roots. Products can leave buildup. I'm a latcher, so I sew my hair, but a lot of people that go straight to locks from being chemically relaxed, they end up cutting off their locks because they want to know their real texture. And I just encourage you guys, if it's ever anything you want to do, spend the 2-3 years with your loose texture. When you are absolutely exhausted and tired from dealing with your texture, that's when you're ready to lock. Because otherwise, you're going to want to go back to it. You're going to want to run your hands through your hair. You got to be absolutely sick and tired of it, and then you'll be ready.